platforms. Yes, I'd like to move to video number 3 on selling fees on eBay. The objective of this video is for you to understand exactly what the selling fees are on eBay and what kind of profit you can expect. So the idea here is to really share best practices. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pricing sheet that I've been working with a bunch of sellers, and I want to make this as practical as possible. So I'm going to work based on 2 examples. One is a seller from Kenya that sells cloth face masks and uses the postal service. And the second example will be a seller from Latin America selling hammocks and using a courier service. So what are the fees when you sell on an online marketplace like eBay? Essentially, you're going to be confronted with 3 types of fees. The first one is the final value fee. That's the share that the marketplace takes every time you make a sale. Secondly, fees for the payment gateway. And finally, there's a fee for money withdrawal and conversion fees. So what about the shipping cost? The best practice that I recommend is to include the shipping cost into the final price so that you can offer free shipping. Let's jump right into the Excel sheet and take a closer look. The example I want to use here is selling handmade hammocks from Mexico to the US. So let's take a closer look at the fees for Mexico. We have the eBay fee, that's 10%. We have a PayPal fee for Mexico to the US, which is 4.5%. Actually, it's 4.45. Then we have a PayPal fixed fee of 30 cents. And in the case of Mexico, there's actually no withdrawal fee if you withdraw the money to your bank, but you don't convert it into pesos. So if you were to convert it into pesos, we would have to adapt it and add 3% here, but I will assume that you want to keep your dollars. Okay, so let me show you how you can use this Excel sheet to calculate your margins. The first thing I need to do is establish the price of the competition. So this is what we did in the last video, and we know that if we want to be competitive, we have to sell at a price of around $70 with free fast shipping. Point number 2 is knowing exactly what our selling cost is. So this is where the table over here comes in. And then finally, number 3, we just need to put the 2 together. We know how much we can sell at, we know what the cost is, and we'll see if there is a margin between, which is going to be our profit. So let's go ahead and calculate our selling costs. We're going to start with the base cost. So I happen to know that you can acquire this type of hammock in Mexico for about $20 US. That's going to be our base cost or sourcing cost. Then I'm going to add $1 for the packaging, assuming that I want to present it in a nice packaging. Then let's look at shipping cost. We are shipping a parcel that is going to be about 1.3 kilos. If you include the packaging, it's going to be certainly below 2 kilos. So I happen to know that for Mexico, there's a shipping service that's available to sellers of all sizes, which allows you to ship a 2 kilo parcel in about 6 days to the US for $27. So I'm well aware that shipping cost is one of the biggest challenges if you're looking to export to the US or Europe. But shipping is too big of a topic to be included in this video. So if you'd like a separate video specifically around shipping, let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. What I can share here is that generally, if you're a small seller, you should be able to secure rates between $20 and $30 if you're shipping out of Latin America or Africa. I've worked with quite a number of sellers in all these regions, and I think that this should be a realistic negotiation target for you, even if you're a very small seller. You may have to make a couple of calls to the different providers and see what they can offer you. The important point is you need to tell them that if they can't give you a good rate, you're not going to be able to sell the kind of volumes that they expect. Okay, so to summarize, we have a base cost of $20, packaging $1, and shipping cost of $27, makes $48 in total. Now let's see what the selling fees are. So the sheet will automatically calculate your fees based on what you put in these fields. In this case, it's correct. It's 10% for eBay. It's 4.45% for PayPal. We have the 30% fee and we have 0% withdrawal fee. So the total fees are $8.46. And what that means is that our total cost of selling is $56. So we can see that there's a little bit of a gap between the $56 and the $70 target price. That's going to be our margin. So let me add the competitor price here, $69.99. And if I want to sell at the same price, I can basically afford a profit margin of roughly 24%. Actually, it's 24.1%. which corresponds to about $11.57 profit for each item sold. Quick shout out to the team at Fastpedia Tools in Brazil. They really helped make the Excel sheet great. And if you want to use it for yourself, you will find a link in the video description below. There's two more callouts I want to make about our pricing table. Number one is that if there is a digital sales tax or any kind of tax that you have in your country, you can just add it here and it's going to auto calculate. And same thing for import tax. In our scenario, since we're importing into the US, we don't have to worry about any import taxes up to the amount of $800. So I'd like to take a step back here and look at this from a more strategic perspective. We have $27 for shipping costs. That's almost a third. Actually, it is a third of the total final price to the customer. So should we actually include this into the price and sell for $70? Or would it better to sell it for $40 and add the shipping cost? So the reality is that the best practice, as I've seen it, is that for products over $50, you should always offer free shipping. It's going to give you better visibility in search, as we will see in the next video. The other point that's super important from a strategic perspective is the shipping cost itself. Shipping is really the main cost factor here. So is there any way that we can lower it? This brings us to our last point. What is the best way to minimize my fees? So in short, the best way to minimize your fees is to cut your shipping cost, which is the biggest cost factor. The truth is that the selling fees and the payment fees and any taxes, they're not gonna go away. However, there is potential to cut your shipping fees, and I want to show you based on an example and a best practice that we used together with a Kenyan seller. So quick shout out to Kangadelic Fashion in Naivasha. So what we did with Kangadelic Fashion is that essentially by using forward deployment, we managed to radically cut our shipping cost and to increase our shipping time by a lot. And that really helped us drive sales. The first step we took is to check the market. So we established a competitor price of $6.50 and we looked at the demand side and we found that this is a market of $10 million. So it's quite a substantial market to try and get into. Next, we calculated our costs. I got a base cost of $1, packaging was 15 cents, and the shipping costs from Kenya to the US was $4.30. So again, this was the main cost factor. Again, let's add the selling fees into the mix. We have 10% for eBay, 4.4% for PayPal in the case of Kenya. We have a 30-cent fixed fee per transaction. And in the case of Kenya, if we want to withdraw the money into M-Pesa, it's a 3% withdrawal fee. So we had established the market price at $6.50 and we had established our cost. So it turns out the cost was $7.09. So if we wanted to be competitive, we would actually operate at a negative margin of minus 8.8%. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Even worse, since we were shipping from Kenya using the Kenya Post, our shipping time was 1 month, which was way slower than the competition that was shipping in 5 days. So we did a little bit of math and analysis and we found out that if we were to ship directly from the target market, in this case the United States, we could cut our shipping cost from $4.30 to 90 cents. And we could improve our shipping time from 1 month to 3 to 5 days. There were two important things to consider. On the one hand, we needed a business partner in the US that would receive the parcel and ship out to the end customer. And we needed to make sure that the parcel that we shipped into the US had a total value of less than $800 so we could avoid any import taxes. So what we ended up doing is we sent a parcel with 150 masks to the business partner in the US, and it came to like 15 cents for each mask. And then the shipping within the US was 75 cents per mask. So essentially the shipping cost now was 90 cents and we could ship in 3 to 5 days. This is what our new cost sheet looked like. Essentially, we were able to lower the price to $3.99, which was way below the competition. We could ship at the same time and all that while making a profit. This graph shows the old shipping model with shipping from Kenya to the US, where you can see a high shipping cost a high total cost and a really low profit. Now compare this to the model where we ship out of US, where we have a much lower price, we have a much more reasonable shipping cost, and the profit is actually much bigger as a share of the final price. And the results on the business were pretty clear. While we were making only a couple of sporadic sales at the beginning, we started making consistent sales afterwards, and ever since we've seen consistent sales. I want to thank Kangadelic Fashion in Kenya for letting me share these details. And if you have any questions on this model about freight forward, let me know in the comments below. And depending on your interest, I can look into making a separate video on this. Let's wrap up video 3 with a quick summary. Number 1, you should always factor in about 20% for selling fees. On eBay, there are final value fees that are 10%. For the payment providers, there is a fee of 4 to 6% when you sell cross-border. And you have to factor in withdrawal and conversion fees if you want to get the money back into your country. Number 2, to do your margin calculation, you first have to know your competition price. So do your homework on the market analysis. Then calculate your selling cost. I'm going to share with you the Excel sheet in the video description below. You will be able to find out if there's a profit from there. Number 3, you should add the shipping cost into your final price and offer free shipping. Go talk to the different couriers in your country and convince them that you need a low shipping fee in order to be competitive. In my experience, in every country that I've worked with so far, there were multiple options and the business development people were willing to give substantial discounts. But finally, the best way to cut your shipping costs is if you can freight forward your inventory into the target market. As we've seen, you can radically increase the shipping speed and you can cut your cost 3 to 4-fold.